All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Let's see if I have the power. How are we looking? We got it?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
welcome everybody. This is JEA FSPA collaboration, and we are talking tonight with Renee Burke, our state director. I know everybody's going to do introductions, and Renee is our JEA specialist tonight, and we have some members of the FSPA board. And tonight we're really talking about how some of the national organization and the state organization can help people out and get them really, we'll just call it what it is, survival mode for this year. We want to still thrive. We want to do what we can. We want to create great content. But hey, 2020 is rough. So tonight we're talking about ways to make this work, make this situation work for everybody out there. So let's go ahead and get to introductions. I'll start with myself. I am Britt Taylor, FSPA president, and I'm also the yearbook, newspaper, and online media advisor for Hagerty High School. I also put, because I just applied for the FSPA, group, FSPA Facebook group. I also said I was the TikTok advisor because apparently we're starting that this year too. So, it's another title I can add. But go ahead, in the order of my screen, we'll go with Adam next.
Hey guys, I'm Adam Levesey. I'm the FSPA Executive Director. I don't have fancy titles other than that.
Renee, looks like you're up.
Hi, I'm Renee Burke. I am the JEA Florida rep or director, and I was a high school newspaper, yearbook, and online media advisor. And right now I'm pitching positive media stories and trying to help other advisors. I'm mentoring primarily to try and help some newbies out there. And
literally in the hot seat tonight, Joe Humphrey.
No air conditioning here. I'm Joe Humphrey. I am FSPA's evaluations coordinator. I oversee our evaluations and digital contests. And I am also the local team leader of the National High School Journalism Convention coming up in November.
All right, thank you everybody. And I know we have a good group tonight. This will also be recorded, as I mentioned before, and we're gonna have this up on our resources page. All right, so our three main focuses for tonight's discussion. Like I said, we're talking about two power journalism organizations, JEA, talking about curriculum that JEA has to offer, and also the mentoring program that JEA has. FSPA and some of the initiatives we have had this year with weekly help sessions, workshops, especially virtual workshops this year, and contests and evaluations. And then we also are going to talk about convention, the national convention, which definitely has a different look this year, but it is an opportunity that is open to more people than ever and something you don't want to miss. So let's get right to it. And I think Renee is going to talk a little bit about JEA.
Yes. So one of the things that I really wanted people to know is, well, we would love for everyone to be a member of JEA and FSPA because I think that they complement each other well. JEA focuses on the actual advisor and helping you grow your efficacy, whereas FSPA focuses more on the staff and helping them develop. So JEA has a phenomenal curriculum that's available, and if you are a member, you have access to it. But this year, understanding that we are in a unique situation, they have a lot of resources on the front end of the firewall, and there is a hot link there. Can someone click that for me? The wealth of resources, so it'll go there. So on this page, which we can make this whole presentation available to you guys, but on this page, if you zoom down, there are resources that some of you might find helpful. Is just mostly how to create a staff and a culture in a pandemic. And since a lot of schools are doing strictly online, at least the first 9 weeks, some of these items might be really helpful for you. But there's self-directed lessons, there's teacher-directed lessons, and the PowerPoints are there. And if you actually are a member, there's tons of PowerPoints and also an outline of how and when you can teach it. But the nice thing I think about this when I was perusing through is it's really geared toward helping people in the environment that we're living in. And I think that is kind of what a lot of people are looking for. You can go back. Does anybody have anything that they want to add to that, Val, or any of you others about the JEA Anywhere?
I'll say, when all of us, kind of hit that panic moment, there are different levels of panic definitely that I've had between last year and this year, but JEA and looking through the different resources, especially, building out and linking some of our FSPA site to some of the resources, I'm just blown away by the sheer number of links and resources and things that they have. It's truly incredible. And really there's so much there, and they have it organized by different topics. So whether it's design, photo, newspaper, yearbook, broadcast, there's really just so many things that are there that you can pick and choose what you want and organize well.
I think you mean the full curriculum though, right, Britt?
You mean the full curriculum, sorry,
Okay.
yes.
No, I just want to make sure, because the stuff in front of the firewall isn't as many bells and whistles, but it is good. There's really good stuff. And Val?
There are tons of resources there, and I think I wanted to add that there's more coming. Like there's a big plan, extensive plan to keep on adding to that. So just keep looking at that website, and I usually they will make social media announcements, listserv announcements, that sort of thing, so the word gets out. The journalism group that Callie does there in Florida is very popular, and a lot of things go out on that. So just look for those things to come.
And then I don't think I made a slide for this, but one of the other things that we really need is mentors. And I see a bunch of you that I know on here, and you are experienced advisors. While no one is experienced pretty much advising in this lifestyle, we still need people who have some background and can assist some others through it. And they don't have to live close to you. Like last year I helped someone in Miami, and Britt kind of got looped into that as well. But just people need to have a sounding board sometimes, like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? Or I want to approach my principal about this. So there's a short training that you need to do, but there are quite a number of new advisors right now who are asking for help. I know in Orange County alone, we have 3 brand new advisors, 2 at a high school and 1 is a 2-8 school. So, each of those comes with their own uniqueness. And so if you're willing, I know it would be greatly appreciated. Everyone's drowning right now. I totally get that. But we really could use some advisors. I had links in the emails I sent you, but if you got rid of that email, then just, our contact info will be at the end, and you can reach out to me, and I'd be happy to connect you to do that, because we really could use some just other help. And we wanted to grow our mentors in Florida anyhow. So it would be fantastic if any of you are interested. And next slide. I think, yep, Britt.
Yeah, once we've been building up our resources too, and I think, like Renee said, what JEA has and so many things for people trying to get things out there for people in this situation, which again is new territory for all of us. We've been recording a lot of things like this session, which will be up on our resources page, and I guess we can click on that link, and it will take us to the resources page, I hope. Wait for it. But maybe not. So we'll do the public view. And, we've been putting a lot of things like our FSPA Thursdays, pre-recorded sessions that we had some last spring, and also as we do things for our big state district workshop this fall, that'll be there too. And we've tried to put links to other resources such as JEA on this page. So really making it a place where you have a lot of options and a lot of things that you can look at. So that's been a big push for us this year, of course, because we're in a situation where people more than ever are looking for these resources. All right, and I think that gets to this slide, which sounds like it might also be me. And one of the things we're looking at is the state district workshop, and we're going to talk about the national convention coming up. But for us, we've recently decided we are close to finalizing the date for Saturday, October 24th. Details are going to come out next week, but one of the purposes of this talk tonight is to talk about ways that you're going to get that convention experience, those sessions, those things that we love every year, but again, they're going to look a lot different this year. And for us, instead of having our district workshops at the individual locations of the districts around our state, we're going to do one virtual workshop where everybody comes together in some sessions and some different things on Saturday, October 24th. Again, we're looking at details and being concrete on that date next week, but right now our target price is $100 per staff. So as many people as you want to have come and get live sessions with people from really around the state, around the nation, to talk to you about different topics. And that's something we're excited to offer and make it a little, we're looking for ways, whether it's announcing our fall digital contests, doing some other things to kind of keep it exciting on a Saturday. We're looking at a lot of things and taking a lot of ideas on how to make that workshop a fun and exciting experience, and also get a lot of good journalism learning. Because let's face it, those kids, they might get a little tired of looking at your face on the Zoom screen. So we want to give them some new faces to look at too. Joe, Adam, anything to add to that?
No, I think you covered it. Just stay tuned. I think it's going to be a great opportunity, especially when we compare the district workshops to now this, statewide one. Is a lot of times in your district one, if that's the only one you're used to going to, you're going to see a lot more new speakers. And hopefully this will actually allow us to get people who maybe couldn't have come to somewhere on a weekend or a Friday. They'll be able to do it straight from their house, their office. So I'm really excited about the possibility of speakers in that sense.
All right. And Joe, this looks like it might be your category.
All right, thank you. One of the things that we'll be doing at the statewide virtual workshop is honoring the winners in our digital contests. We're very happy to have a full slate of fall digital contests this year, 23 categories for students, and even backed by popular demand, an advisor category. And if you go to the next slide, this is not every category, but just some of them. Preliminary theme packet allows you to submit a theme in terms of where you are right now and get some good feedback that you can use to help drive improving upon it. Yearbook students can work on mods, spreads. We have lit mag categories, multimedia categories, of course, broadcast categories, newspaper, a variety of photography categories, social media. We're even logo design contest. We're looking at changing or refreshing our FSPA logo. And we've invited students to weigh in on that, and even have offered a prize for that. So we'd love to get some entries. Also, we have a review writing contest that's specifically for advisors. They did photography in the spring, so now we're gonna test them on their review writing. And that was a lot of fun when we had the advisors competing as well. These prompts are already on our website. You can check them out, and they're due September 30th. So I know some districts aren't quite back to school yet, but you're gonna have the entire month of September to work on those entries. There are a handful of what we call deadline categories, in which we won't even release the actual prompt until 3 or 4 days before they're due. And that's meant to simulate kind of a deadline situation for your students.
And Joe, I would ask or comment that, a lot of these contests are set up to, kind of critique or give a little bit of feedback on some of the early work you're doing in 2020 and 2021, and especially in a year where you might be coming at things from a different angle, it's really a good way to kind of get some feedback that you can use right away, as opposed to, you know, feedback that might come after the year's over.
Absolutely. I'm really proud of the fact that all of our contests come with written feedback, so that you can act on it and learn from it and use it as a teaching tool in your classroom.
Awesome.
The other reminder related to the evaluations and contest world is Monday, the 31st, is the deadline to submit your yearbook or literary magazine for annual evaluation. Normally, our deadline would be, you know, June typically, but this year with all the things that were going on, we're still accepting yearbooks. Adam pointed out to me earlier today, I think we've gotten about 15 applications in the last week or so. So really happy with that. A lot of our yearbook evaluations have already gone out to judges and been returned to advisors and staffs so that they can take a look at that information and start learning from it. And the details, the entry form for that's on our website. We really just need you to get the application filled out by Monday and then get the book to us as soon as possible.
Perfect. Great information, Joe. And now, is it Joe? Is it Renee? I'll let you two arm wrestle over this one.
That's Renee.
Now, Joe is that's you. Joe is our local chair. I mean, I can say a few things about it because a bunch of us on here are working on it. And as someone who has taken kids to, I don't even know how many JEA actual conventions, whether it be fall or spring, they're always amazing. This is what I love about this is even that. Sadly, it had to pivot from being at the JW Marriott, which would have had, probably 6,000 plus kids. And the last time we hosted was fabulous. I think more kids will participate and hopefully more staffs will have people sign up because it's so cost effective. $39 per kid in the early registration for members to have the wealth of resources and speakers, the access to them and the competitions, I just think is pretty remarkable. And it's still being so early, I think staffs can make changes of things that they learn. But Joe, this is your show, your baby. You're the head.
All right, well, let me just talk about it. You know, we are going to have a series of sessions, dozens and dozens of sessions that students and advisors can participate in. And unlike when it's in person and you have to pick one per hour, you have access to every single one of the sessions, and they'll be archived and available for a period of time after the convention so that you can go back in and check it out. There's even a virtual exhibit hall where you can go in and meet with exhibitors. I know they're looking hard at getting some universities there. We do have keynote speakers for each of the nights or each of the days. This will run during the school day, typically 9 to 5-ish. It's going to be our programming with a few evening events. And we fully realize that students, some will be participating from campus, some will be participating from home, but it is a legit, you know, field trip experience for our students. And at $39, you know, sometimes my students pay more than that in luggage fees to go to a convention. So lots of information coming out from JEA and NSPA about that. We even have a new theme. Sunshine and Stories doesn't really feel like it hits quite the right note anymore. So we'll be rolling out a new theme hopefully next week on that was done by one of our local committee members. So be on the lookout. JEA and NSPA are really, they drive the registration train here. So they'll be putting out most of the information, but as a longtime advisor, you know, this was a must. We always went, we always enjoyed it.
And before we move on, I failed to introduce someone pretty important earlier because she is a guest to our state. She's actually not in Florida, but we have Val Keebler on our, I don't know what order she is for you, but she's in a purple Harrisonburg or Harrisburg shirt. And she actually is the vice president of JEA. So tons of knowledge from her. She's a fabulous advisor, but thanks for also joining us, Val. That was really nice of you, and my apologies for not doing that earlier.
Oh, no problem at all. I did want to add to what Joe said. I anticipate this being probably the largest convention that we have ever had. And as we have these Zoom-ins, and I'm trying to do it in every single state, I think it's really important that the folks who are regularly involved strongly reach out to the folks who never have been to a convention or never probably will be able to go to a convention, because now we're talking about something that is accessible. And as you talk about equity, like, we've leveled the playing field with this. And then the other thing that I think really helps all of us out at the secondary level is if those high school advisors grab a middle school teacher. And, you know, middle school teachers are often very leery to, understandably, travel with kids to a national convention. But I believe they might do this. And the part I love most about it is, like, you know, like Joe was saying, where if you're there in person, you have to choose something each hour. Now you don't, and all that's going to be available to you for about a month after. So I think that that's an incredible experience for kids.
Val, could you repeat that part about the largest attendance ever?
Hey, don't get cocky, Humphrey. The numbers aren't in yet. I will say, I will add to that too. I envision moving forward that we really start to work on a hybrid model that allows a really unique in-person experience, but does also provide stuff for folks who are, like I say, can never come, and it's just not affordable, or their districts don't allow travel. Like, I think right now, even if we said Orlando was on, I know most of Virginia has said ain't no kid going anywhere this year. Like, they're not even going to the zoo. So, you know, I think that that's going to be the kind of thing that stands in our way moving forward. But anyway, I do think this is a game changer for leveling the playing field for publications. And I tell everyone that I can, like, I started in a poor rural area of Virginia, and my kids got to a convention for the first time and realized that the self-imposed stigma that they had always put on themselves for what they said with being stupid was immediately erased, because they realized they were no different than a teen from anywhere else around this country. And it was the game changer in raising the level of all the media there.
And I think we look at 2020, you know, as a never before kind of year for sure. And so much of that has negative connotation with what's going on this year. But really, you know, silver linings, and you look at the never before kind of opportunities that students have, and the equity that you spoke of. And there's so many opportunities that are out there. And certainly we all want to be back in the classroom and doing what we normally do. But when something like this happens, and it's really never happened before, it's really there for everybody to take advantage of. And I think you're right, and it'll be groundbreaking and history making. And I can't wait to see. I know my kids can't wait to go, and I can't wait to see it break all sorts of records, right, Joe? All right. So moving on, I think if we have questions, other things to talk about, ways that we can help you from either organization, certainly JEA or FSPA, things you need, things you want to talk about, now is the time of the program where we're going to make that happen. So opening it up, I don't know if anybody on the panel has other things that you want to mention or bring up, or people out there in the chat have things that they want to ask, but now is the time.
Is anyone on here newer? Because I think one of the things that I would like to know and be able to relay back is what types of lessons someone is looking for to help you teach in this remote or hybrid, because I know most of our districts have kids in front of them and kids at home. We don't have a lot of pure classes. So what are things that people may want or need, other, if you're an advisor, what are things you're struggling with already? Bell ringers.
And I would agree, one of the things that our schools talked about with bell ringers is the need to have different looking transitions, because you have some kids who might, in our schedule, might be going home to jump on to a Connect is what we call it class, where they had an in-person class before, and the transitions that they've allowed are a little bit mind-boggling, but the people coming in and out and not being there right at the bell is definitely something that's been an issue and a struggle. And I know people look for ways to have, some independent work and some things that people can do while we get everything else under control. So I would say that is definitely a need.
Britt, thank you for that. And Britt, you definitely have a better perspective than most of us because you're already back. But I just know that setting up for the next month, it's just like first of all, I have 4 preps. So that's just like a nightmare. And I agree with the team building, but we'll get to that in a second. But just in general, we need that time at the beginning of the class to deal with live and in person. And I think in general, we just need more time. So in my first year teaching, because I shifted from English to teaching journalism, I had a ton of bell ringers that I was doing that I wouldn't necessarily use now just because that was my first year. I didn't really know what I was doing at that time. But now it's like, I need them again. I need that structure again. My class is typically very project-based, even, at this time of year, like I'm either teaching something, but most of the time I'm having to do research and then having them do projects and all these different things. And none of that's happening. So for the most part, I really need that independent start of class, something that can be completed online and then discussed afterwards. So that's the other thing, we were trying to go paperless. So shifting from doing like a 5-day bell ringer sheet to finding ways to implement that on to something digital has been a shift as well, and just complete mindset.
So would things like an AP style review, like maybe 5 questions a day and go formative, because they can then answer them? You could get the scores, but then they would be doing it. Might that be helpful? Like if we
Yes.
created like a bank of questions or something, and then people pulled a few of them. I don't know. That was the first thing.
That would be awesome. The only thing I will say is the start of the school year, like a lot of that hasn't been taught to my J1 kids yet. So the review part would be more for the yearbook kids and stuff. And honestly, they don't really need the bell ringers as much, just because I know we're going to be in the swing of things pretty quick. We don't, we throw each other in the water. But I mean, I like that idea. I think that's helpful. But I know a lot of what I'm looking at doing is current event based. So
give them a statement and have them respond to it.
Yes. Yeah. So more things that maybe their homework is to read stuff, but that bell ringer is more like that response, but just things that they can do independently at the start of class. I can open up discussion for a brief minute, and then we can jump into the today's activities, but take about 5 to 8 minutes at a time, so we can get the live kids situated. We make sure everybody's in. We've got sanitation handled. Just all those new challenges that we're not used to having. But that would be super helpful, I know, as a resource.
One thing that I definitely have tried and want to see other people try so I can steal it from them is the use of Google Documents. I know, I'm lucky enough to be in a lab, and of course the Connect kids at home have computers. So I've been trying out all sorts of different Google Docs. We used them before, but just things like we can't group up together, which is, I'll be honest, it's killing me. We can't move around as much as we used to. So starting like a Google slide presentation, like we did something on design where everybody had to pick out a design, and they were showing contrast. And the person over on that side of the room picked out a slide, and the person on the other side picked out a slide, and they put it together in the same presentation. They defined it. And even as far as, having somebody at home in the same group, and they're speaking, they're reading their slides, and the people in the class are reading their slides, and they don't have to get up in front of the class together. And logistically or technologically, however you want to say it, it's been a struggle, and it's taken a lot longer. But those things, that's the kind of thing that I'm interested to hear what other people are doing as well, because certainly just looking for ways that you can get some sort of group work, some movement in the class, and have something that doesn't just feel like standing up in front of the class and talking, and they're doing work at their seats.
Anybody else? So Ben, I know team building on that JEA, anywhere JEA, there are quite a few lessons on the team building, but I think, I don't know, I feel like for that, one of the things it could be if you were to do personality tests and then put them in breakout rooms to have them solve some kind of problem, so that you have the different personalities in a breakout room trying to solve a problem. That would be one thing, because they could be present, they could be in face or online and still be in that breakout room. I guess it depends on how you're set up. In our district, every kid has a laptop. We're a one-to-one. And so even if you're in the classroom, you are able to see your peers that aren't in the classroom because they're all in a class together. So I think doing things that you can put them in breakout rooms would be good. Yeah,
One of the
anybody else?
you know, talking about team building, and I know that, again, just because I've been at it for a couple weeks, and it's funny story. I've had kids who are Connect, and that group of kids, like about a third of my staff is at home, and they've really felt like out of the loop, and it's hard to bring them in to feel as part of the team with the face-to-face kids. And since I've been sent home myself, and I'm teaching remotely from a computer into a classroom, I've kind of experienced that. You can't hear what's going on in the classroom. You can't, you really feel disconnected. Not to, that might be a headline coming in our newspaper for the, Connect kids, but the idea, sometimes you just have to get stupid. And that's, I learned today that the Connect kids have a separate chat. They're chatting to each other, during class. So sometimes I think you just got to embrace that. And it might be show your pet day. It might be what snack are you eating? It might be pajama day, and I think sometimes some classes, because they're a little more academic, a little more traditional, they have a lot of rules. Don't do this, don't turn on that, don't, and it's a little more structured. I think as a staff, and as to get some of that staff bonding, you have to embrace some of those unique opportunities. And so we've done a little more of that, and it pays off. I think the people in class realize that the people have advantages that are at home, and the people at home, realize that there are advantages of being face to face. The grass is greener, whatever side you look at, but neither one is perfect, and you just really have to let each side kind of have their thing, even if it's not exactly the same. So even bringing in some silly stuff, even if you can't have the same thing for both, it still works. And I, even the people in class get a kick out of, somebody holding their dog up for a minute. And especially this year, you just got to take a moment and do some stuff like that, because everybody's kind of walking in a new space this year.
Anybody else? Has anybody used Flipgrid? Because that's really popular right now where I am. I know a lot of teachers are using that because they're saying it's easy to have with people in class and not. Is anyone using that? Anyone on here?
This is Joni. I didn't use it in my class yet, but we used it for like a virtual open house. And I know that if it was a student who did it, it would have been really easy for them to do it. But like our teachers had struggles, but my sister teaches in Atlanta now, and she's been using it, and then she says it's really easy and it's a lot of fun and they really like it.
Okay. Yeah, the kids seem to really like it, and a lot of my teacher friends are using it this year and say it's easy for them to use, but that they're liking it, and it's for both here or not here, I guess. So thanks, Shannon. So I guess, are you using it? I don't know if she wants to turn her volume on. All right. Anybody else, things that you want or ways that we can try and support you, whether it be JEA or FSPA? Try and find these things. All right, Britt, let's move forward.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have in the slideshow. And
Contact information is next.
what's that?
Maybe. Is contact info next? No?
Is contact. Oh, you got this.
Oh yeah, you got this.
All right. My fault. But
And for those of you who liked the slideshow, it's free from SlidesGo. There, you just have to keep that, or they ask that you keep that on there. And there's tons of cute little free templates for Google Slides. So just throwing that out there.
So here we have contact information for everybody tonight, and certainly reach out to us. There are a lot of ways to get us. Certainly email's one of them. And you know, there are lots of ways to get help, and trust me, the people who have been doing it for, you know, in my case, 28 years, still have a whole lot of questions that somebody who's done it for 1 or 2 can probably answer for me, and vice versa. So I know everybody on this list, everybody in this Zoom tonight has questions and has some answers too. So reach out, send us some emails, and you know, join us in one of our sessions, and you can help us help you, to quote one of my favorite movies. And speaking of helping us help you, Courtney Hanks, do we have anything coming up next that people might be wanting to attend?
I'm back. Today, I'm kind of just going to go over exactly how I'm setting up my classroom for next year. I still have a lot of things not figured out. Some things like I start and then I'm like, I don't know, like our ladder. But other than that, there are some things that we have decided on, and my kids and I have been working really hard to kind of get at least situated. So I'm going to go talk about that stuff, and then just some general ideas about how I'm talking to my kids about developing theme this year, the kind of things to kind of stick away from, and things that are important to think about when you talk about theme. So just going through those 2 different topics, and it'll be a Facebook Live, so I'll mostly be just kind of talking through those points. Sorry, he thinks it's time to eat. It's not yet. But I'll be doing that, and then because it's Facebook Live, which is a new format for us, which I'm very excited about, we are going to be able to, like, people can chat in and ask questions as I'm going through this stuff, and I can still respond to that stuff in real time, and it's not just like a lecture. So it's going to be hopefully helpful for those of you guys who are still thinking about what you're doing going forward. I know I'm still constantly thinking about what I'm doing, you know, on day 1. So yeah, that's Facebook Live, and we're hoping to implement these at least once a month to kind of give a space for people to talk to each other.
So thanks, Courtney. One of the new resources out there, and certainly there are lots. And like we said, 2020, you know, never before, and for some of it, never again. But for a lot of it, we're hoping these resources and these things stay present, and things that if you like them and you use them, we'll probably keep doing them. So again, thanks to everybody for coming on tonight, and our guest people too. And again, I think that's all we have for tonight. And thanks everybody for coming.
Thanks,
And then
you
real
guys.
quick, if you want to find that Facebook Live tonight, it's going to be on our Facebook private advisor group. But the easiest way to get there is facebook.com/thefspa. That's our page. And within that page, you'll see the Florida Scholastic Press Association advisor group. So go there, ask to join. We'll let you in, and then you'll be able to catch Courtney and all the other content we're going to be providing through there. And if you have any ideas for any of the content, we made a big lofty goal that we're going to be doing content weekly, every week. If you have any ideas for that or anything you want to contribute to, please let us know. If anything we need to change or make better for you guys, let us know. It's kind of just a work in progress, but we're really excited about it.
Thanks, Adam. And thanks again, everybody. Have a great night.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Woo-hoo. Hey, Ben.
Good job.
Bye, Ben. Oh, the voice crack.
He's new at Oviedo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I need to introduce. So, all right. See you guys later.
All right. Thanks, Renee.
Thank you. Awesome job.
Woo-hoo. We're done recording, Adam.